format competition because it is unique.
Well, I guess if there's an advantage, I get to bowl a little bit later, so I get to watch several different styles over the 2 days. Dominic is one strategy that I was really looking forward to because he likes to go through the lane a little bit straighter than some of the other players. But there's only a little bit more than 2 times as much oil on the front of the pattern as there is at 37 feet. And so how much friction in the front determines whether you're going to carry or not. And Dom's ball is burning up energy in the front, going through the pins a little bit, pushing a little bit long, and left him a couple of corner pins, cost him some strikes.
Yeah, it's giving that light effect as he comes into the pocket. But you did this last year, Chris. You straightened up on a couple of occasions to get yourself out of trouble.
Yeah, it's been key here. On the fresh oil, sometimes it's hard to get way in and go way around it, like you're going to see Jason Belmonte last night and Oscar probably later on today.
Yeah, the two-handers love this lane. Rivera then needs to get back in the pocket if he can, and yeah, that's better. That's good work, isn't it, Cass?
Yeah, much better shot. Carried the Tenpin eventually there, didn't he? But as Chris is saying, it's as we've said previously, it's a matter of stringing strikes together. These corner pins can do so much damage when they stand up in the middle of sort of 3 strikes in a row from an apparent good pocket hit. Also, Dominic changed that ball from the last frame to the first frame of this match and got the result he was looking for.
Barrett then working a strike. There we go, it's a double for Barrett. This is a lot better, isn't it, Chris?
He seems to have gotten a little bit further left now, and his ball is pushing down the lane easier, and he's getting a better back-end reaction, which is getting the 6 pin in the 10 instead of the ball pushing through the pin deck, and this is where the 6 goes around the top of the 10.
And the result is a double for Barrett.
Yeah, well, he actually needed that to start like that because 38 pins adrift against world gold medalist B-Boy Rivera is no easy task to pull back in 10 frames.
Very wide grip that Rivera uses. It's not much of his second and third finger into the ball. And we've seen it slip off his hands a couple of times, but seems to work.
Yeah, pretty high shot on the head pin there. Just tripped the 4 pin out quite nicely and has actually made the double. He's getting some great reaction in the back end there. Really high hooking and just trips that 4 pin out. Simon, I forgot to mention when Chris walked in, he's actually the PBA Player of the Year in the United States, so we're in honoured company, you know.
Yeah, we should congratulate you for that, Chris. How are you feeling about that award?
I feel like it doesn't translate very well in the booth today, but it's something I've been after a long time. I finished 2nd or 3rd in that voting 4 or 5 years, and you know, it was pretty special to finally get to the top this year.
Oh, well done. About time too. Oh, nice one. Turkey then for Barrett. This one's warming up very nicely. Well, that's how things look after 3 frames of this second game, and Dominic Barrett will be feeling that there's a way back into this match.
Yeah, he's pulled 10 pins back already, so it's just about a 28 pin takedown at the moment for B-Boy. And there'll be pressure on him now to try and sink that first turkey of this game.
And really interesting. Look how high the pin is on that ball. And what that does is create more flare in the ball, allows B-Boy to get further left than Dominic.
Left the 10.
It also helps create more of a down lane reaction, which right now is getting in B-Boy's way. The ball's starting to pick up a little bit too early. He moves left, and he's still picking up, running into more friction. Unless he makes a pretty good move here soon, Dominic's going to run him down.
Yeah, again, it's that corner pin that he's not quite carried due to the angle of the entry, but good technical points there from Chris Barnes.
Well, what's happening with the oil is it's the invisible part of this game. The players can see it, and the experts watching the match can see it. But maybe sometimes for you guys at home, it's not as obvious, but I tell you, it's happening, and the players are making adjustments all the way through this match to try and stay in the pocket. Rivera once again going through that little mental rehearsal where it looks like he's trying to loosen the arm up and remind himself that he's a flow bowler, a stroker, as they call it in Tenpin bowling.
Yeah, a little bit of a contrast compared to the power play of young Dominic here. He's looking up to hit that four-bagger and pull some more pins back.
That was a big ball, wasn't it, Chris?
That's a great shot there. Dominic's rhythm has gotten very good. You can see he's gotten very comfortable now. And he's finally caught one of those off hits to go along with those 3 perfect ones to start off the game.
Yeah, pretty light on the headpin, but mixed them all around, got the chain reaction, and carries all 10.
Well, out of all the first round matches we've seen so far, this one has really swung back and forth. And Barrett will feel that he's had 2 opportunities. Rivera has certainly had a couple of opportunities. And now it's pretty close again.
Yeah, it's down to single digits. And that won't help B-Boy, I'm afraid. He's working on a spare, but that's just 8 pins. He's left with 2 in the 8 sleeper.
He's just caught a little bit now. His ball's picking up a little bit too early. He moves left on that shot. Then it goes right by it. He's going to either have to soften up his speed so that it gives it time to hook in the back of the lane, or he's going to have to get around the ball a little bit more with his hand to allow it to hook more in the back.
With this single lane format, those decisions, Chris, you get one shot at it, and if it's the wrong decision, you're out.
But absolutely, it's very quick, and one of the unique things about bowling on one lane, oil transition always happens, but with only one lane going on, it happens twice as fast.
Yeah, good point to make there. And there's Rivera trying to give himself all the facts so he can make the right decision next time out. And it has to be the right decision next time out, or Dominic Barrett is in here.
Well, he's very much under pressure now. He's had 2 spares, and Dominic's hit 4 strikes in a row, so it's all back to very close. In fact, Dominic's just taken the lead. If he strikes here, he'll be extending that lead with halfway through the second game.
Looking for a 5-bagger. There he gets it. So moves from, well, the new phrase we're hearing, ham bone for the 4 onto a 5-bagger. And that's how things look at the moment. And if Barrett can strike out from here, then he's going to nick this one. It's a good comeback from the Englishman. Huge ball here for Rivera. What decision is he going to make?
Well, he's got to decide to get a strike. I mean, that's the sort of decision he really wants, you know. Up against it, pressure time, very much so. Simon, we weren't going to talk about Hambone, but while Chris is in the box, Chris, a quick comment?
No, he's got his strike.
I thought he was going to move left. You could see by his hand motions there, he was talking about moving the right, and that's what he did. He went more up the back of it and got a little bit closer to that friction and shortened the move that his ball makes in the back end. And that seems to have worked pretty well.
Yeah, that's confirmed by our statistician, Andy Penny, and the CAT system. The adjustment made by B-Boy. He's got him right back in the pocket and shoots full 10.
The right move from Rivera. Now Barrett working 5 strikes in a row. This for the 6-pack. Oh, yes, great work. And it looked to me there, Chris, as though Dominic made a move as well.
Yeah, I think actually he caught a handful of this one. It translated into a little bit softer ball speed. He was pretty fortunate there that one didn't cut through and leave a 9-pin. On the twister pins from last year, I think it definitely would have been one.
That probably would have been a 4-9 from last year, maybe.
You're probably right.
Yeah, slightly high on the head pin. Carries all 10, and he's perfect through 6. He's halfway there.
Rivera then working a strike, and no other option really for the man from the Philippines. He's got to keep knocking all 10 over. It's not happened. He tried to stay with the plan, but it's not there for B-Boy Rivera at the moment.
Yeah, that was a pretty expensive single pin leave there. He really needed the double just to stay in contention. Only just made the headpin, just sailed by on the possibly on the all that's moved down there. Bit of transition. Any comment, Chris?
Yeah, I'm a little surprised at that. He is rolling it more, but that one didn't pick up in the front of the lane. So once it got down lane, it made that shorter move, but he was too far away from the head pin.
Well, the spare's good, but it's not good enough, I'm afraid. Not at this stage of the match.
Now we've got a rule in the commentary box here at the World Tenpin Masters. Nobody mentions the M word, the maximum, until we've had 7 strikes in a row. So let's just bide our time as Dominic Barrett lines himself up. I think there's a few things going through Dominic Barrett's head here, Chris.
Well, potentially there's a lot of things he could be thinking about, but the most important for him right now is staying in rhythm and staying in the moment, throwing one more good one.
Yeah, the crowd are getting interested. It's official. We can start talking about the maximum 300 game here.
Well, you heard it first from Simon Golding.
Always good to have someone to blame, eh, Cass, if it doesn't quite go the way we're planning. But look at that. That's the maximum scores they could get at the moment. And as you can see, Barrett has turned this one on its head.
I was going to say, Cass, I wasn't going to be the first one to spit it out there. I don't know.
Absolutely, yeah. But as Simon said, yeah, we need someone to blame it on. So, but hopefully he's going to go all the way. I mean, that would be a great finish to this match, wouldn't it? Great for TV. Now this is a man under pressure.
That little snarl as he delivers the ball, and it works this time. It's another strike for Rivera, but he's just not doubling and trebling them up.
Yeah, that's the problem. We've spoken about it many, many times. It's stringing those strikes together and not leaving those corner pins. It's the carry contest we've mentioned. And that's a nice strike from B-Boy.
7 strikes in a row for Dominic Barrett. Looking for 8. And that really will get the crowd absolutely locked into this match. There was a few murmurs last time the ball went down, but you listen, just before this hits the pocket, the crowd will react. Oh yes, there we go. A little bit of luck from Dominic Barrett. That's what he wanted.
Well, he shot the lazy Tenpin down. It's 8 strikes in a row, and the crowd really up for this now. Yeah, he's just showing what how it just came off his hand. Looked like being, it was a sort of a half pocket shot, wasn't it? But that Tenpin's just gone.
So Dominic Barrett, look at that, X's all the way through. This is a big chance. Now you guys have seen it all before, but you can't help getting excited when it's a maximum game on telly.
Well, he's not there yet, but he's looking so lined up that there's no reason why he's not going to go that far. We've just got our fingers crossed for him.
Rivera then, still with some hope, and that's one of his mottos, never give up hope, but he's straight through the head pin there. And I'm afraid he's left himself a nasty split.
Yeah, that's the 4-6 high through the head pin. He just didn't break anything up there at all, and this is going to be an open frame, and I guess this is going to be the end of the match. And he knows it. Look at the look on his face. All over by the shouting.
It has to be pretty confusing for him because it seems like he's made a lot of right moves. He went up the back of it, struck one shot, the next one went by it. So then he grabbed a handful of the next one, and it strikes again, and then this one hooks early and goes through the face. Typically when something like that happens, your ball reaction is just a little bit too early in the front of the lane, and you get that half 10 4-pin, 2-pin 4-pin, or big 4 2-pin is what he's had here lately.
Yeah, it's very confusing when this you don't get the right ball reaction and you make the adjustments, and then it works and then it doesn't work, as Chris was saying. But here we are now. It's Dom Barrett. He's just taken a re-rack, and he's coming up for his foundation frame number 9. I guess he thinks he's got this match won, which he has.
Yeah, the game's gone from Rivera now, and we turn our attentions to the other point at hand, and that's whether Dominic can strike it off the card from here. He looked down and out in this match at one point, but he's turned it around beautifully in the second game. No. Well, I knew we'd be able to talk him out of it, but I'm afraid it's not going to be a maximum for Dominic Barrett. And listen to that applause from the crowd. That's to say, great work from him. And it's to acknowledge the fact that he's through to the quarters.
Yeah, the ball rushed on. He's left the 2-8. Chris, anything?
Yeah, just a tad firm, and it's pretty natural in that situation. There's a lot of adrenaline going on. He tried to catch a handful at the bottom of it, but came off his hand just a little quick. Translated to more ball speed, just a little bit short.
Keeps the strike ball out to do the job. Very professional stuff from Dominic Barrett. He'll be disappointed about not quite getting the 300 game, but immediately turns his attention to finishing off the job in hand. So 494 maximum for him against a 459 maximum from Rivera. There's nothing B-Boy can do from here to affect the way this game's going.
And the great thing is, Simon, as you mentioned earlier, who's Dominic going to be playing in the quarter-final? Our man Paul Moore, and all England setup. What a game that's going to be.
Yeah, great work from Rivera. He'll get the warm applause from the Barnsley crowd. It's terrific, isn't it? It's not a nice place to be when you've lost the match and you've still got to finish a game off, but the crowd makes it easier.
It's more important that he's just travelled 10,000 miles and there's only about 2 games. I'm sorry about that, but Chris, come in there.
Yeah, the crowd, there's probably not much of that he's hearing at the moment. You don't, I guess moral victories don't come into play when you know you got 24 hours of flying in front of you.
Yeah, he's been there, done it before, and I'm sure it's going to happen again. They're looking for a big finish. Just go out with a bit of pride here. Just gone through the 200 barrier for game number 2.
And you know what he's thinking. Look at that. The reaction from the body language, from the face. He's thinking, why didn't I find that line earlier? Where was it? But he made all the right moves, as you said, Chris.
Well, he committed to them. Absolutely. I mean, he had a couple of choices, and now it looks like in the 10th frame he's going through his other option, was going left and going around it more. And if this one strikes here, he's probably going to think he should have done that first.
Well, he's going to hit 450 and he's going home. Good finish. Got a 204.
Yeah, leaves that Tenpin, and after that terrific first game from Rivera, he hasn't quite followed it up in the second. He's let Dominic Barrett back in, but Barrett's played very well indeed. 4-5-8 then. That's as much as Rivera can manage in this first round match, and I'm afraid the man from the Philippines is going home. It's another solid performance from the young Englishman, and 22-year-old Dominic Barrett really has matured on this lane. The last couple of years that we've seen him in action, well, we know he's got potential, and he's proving it here today. He looks in really, really good form, does Dominic Barrett, and I think Paul Moore is going to be watching this one with great interest.
Oh, absolutely, yes. And as you say, we've seen Dominic come from progressing through the English ranking events. He's now flying high in the European zone ranking events, so he's growing in stature. It's going to be a great prospect for the future.
Dominic, then, just to finish things up, a quick word from Chris Barnes after that strike. Chris, what are your predictions for your first round match?
Well, I know I'm bowling against a quality player in Orr, and you know, the strategy is always to come out early with strikes and try and keep as much pressure on your opponent as possible. I think it's the hardest thing after you travel all this way and come over here, whether it's the first time or third time or whatever it is, to get off to a good start and get comfortable. Even Dom, as many times he's been here, looked a little bit uncomfortable at the beginning, made some great moves and showed what kind of world-class player he is today.
Oh, thanks to Chris Barnes for joining us in the booth. And that's how things finished. Dominic Barrett of England, 492, good enough to beat B-Boy Rivera with a 458. And for the second year in a row, Dominic Barrett of England is through to the quarter-finals.
It's always good bowling with somebody who raises the bar, because he never gives up. He always finds way on how to manage the game, finish strongly. And he was able to do that.
I'm looking forward to playing Paul next. I know him pretty well, obviously. We played in England a lot together and in Europe. But again, I'm not just going to look at what Paul's doing. I can only control what I do. So I'm going to go and do that the best I can.
What a sensational game. Dom turned it around with those 8 consecutive strikes, and it was just too much for the man from the Philippines, setting up an all-English showdown with 3-time finalist Paul Moore. Coming next, 2 World Cup winners battling for a single place in the quarter-finals. It's Canada against Finland, Michael Schmidt against Osku Palermo, Both men looking to add the Masters crown to their trophy cabinets. But who will take that quarter-final spot in the partycasino.com World 10-Pin Masters?